Good evening. We do apologize for the great delay registered earlier on. We had something going on today, and as we all know, it is the interdenominational faith summit that has been happening. We assure you that we'll be airing the revival sessions which happen every evening. That is around 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. if I'm not wrong. I will be airing that live. Today we had quite a bit of a delay, but from tomorrow things will be back to normal. Now we have quite a lot in store for you when it comes to the bulletin or to the stories ahead. Number one being the arrest of Jimmy Wanjigi, who had went for a visit to the DCI offices in Milimani and ended up being arrested, which is contrary to the court order that was given against his arrest. We also have the retiring or the resignation of Uasin Gishu Deputy Governor, which happened today with immediate effect because he's taking up the position of CEO of an ICT tech firm. That and much more stories will be on today's bulletin. My name is Consolata Chibalonza. See you in a few. Welcome. The Interdenominational International Faith Summit 2024 has officially kicked off. With an amazing session that initiated the conference this morning, the delegates were well received at the gate while registering. The conference is fully funded and sponsored by and through RGC Buruburu, hosted by Reverend Felix Kavoy. Various speakers will be gracing the event from within the country and outside. And here is a snippet of what you might have missed.
Now. When you hear right, your direction will be dictated by God. John chapter 10 verse 27. He says, my sheep hear my voice. I know them and they follow me. You see, you cannot follow God well until you are acquainted to his voice. The sheep must hear the voice of God, and they are able to follow. And how do you know the voice of God? Spend your time in his presence. Read the word. Hear the Holy Ghost. The voice of God is wrapped up.
Ow. Uasin Gishu Deputy Governor John Barorot has officially resigned from his position effective immediately. The announcement was made during a meeting with senior county staff at the Eka Hotel in Eldoret, attended by Governor Jonathan B. In a press conference on Monday, Governor B confirmed that he resigned after securing a new role as Chief Executive Officer at an international ICT firm that will begin on the 1st of September 2024. During his speech, Barorot clarified that he had no differences with the governor as speculated by the public, but sought to exploit other opportunities.
Today we announce the exit of our Deputy Governor, Engineer John Barorot, who has a secured position as a Chief Executive Officer of an international organization in ICT sector. His last day of work will be on August 31st, 2024. While it was our wish to continue working and tapping into Engineer Barorot's wealth of knowledge and experience, his decision to pursue interests outside political environment and public service deserves all the respect and appreciation. We sincerely wish to thank Engineer Barorot for his sterling performance, dedication, and commitment over the past 2 years. His contributions have been without doubt been immeasurable in advancing development and prosperity of our county. With the position falling vacant from September 1st, 2024, I will nominate a replacement within, actually, as soon as we are done. It will not take long. The new Deputy Governor nominee will be transmitted to the County Assembly for vetting and approval for appointment. I wish to assure the people of Uasin Gishu that the county government of Uasin Gishu remains on track in achieving the development agenda that I promised the people when you were elected. What has just happened is the Deputy Governor is a friend, and you know I picked him as a nominee to become my deputy governor, and we picked deputy governor from the private sector, and he had a career that he had developed for many years. We have had a very deep conversation with the deputy in the last 1 month as we agreed towards his exit. And this afternoon, together with the leadership of the county assembly and the CECs and all of us, we are making it open that you can see.
Our lawyers representing Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza in her impeachment hearing at the Senate have sought to explain why charges against the county boss have no basis. Elias Mutuma and Elisha Mongoya said that the MCAs made up their minds to impeach Mwangaza again when the Senate failed to confirm charges against her during the last impeachment in November 2023. This is the third time Mwangaza is facing an impeachment hearing. Mutuma said that the team representing the county assembly in November 2023, when Mwangaza was at the Senate for the last impeachment, predicted they would be back at the House.
Honorable members, you are being called for the third time to interrogate the character and the ability of Governor Kawira to govern the county of Meru, the county government of Meru. It's not usual that an individual can be called and be brought before this assembly without a reason. There is a fundamental reason that underlies her ability to govern. You're being called for the third time to interrogate the ability of Governor Kawira to manage the resources of the county of Meru. You're being called upon for the third time to interrogate the ability of Governor Kawira to ensure that there is effective service delivery of services to the people and the residents of Meru County. Accountability, honorable members, is a measure of leadership. Accountability is the ability of an individual to be held to account for our actions. It's not a call for interrogating the weakness of an individual, but the ability of that individual to execute her constitutional mandates. For the third time, there cannot be malice. This cannot be personal vendetta. There is no relationship that is unconstitutional between the governor and the county assembly. We shall bring before you evidence how money and resources that Kenyans are on day-to-day basis working hard to generate are being misused at the heart and the behest of the governor, at the quest or the behest of her inability to govern the resources.
Now, President Ruto emphasized the need for a funding model centered on students rather than universities, highlighting a significant shift in policy aimed at supporting vulnerable populations. The proposed model seeks to enhance financial aid by increasing scholarships and loans for students from disadvantaged backgrounds from 80% to 95%. President Ruto underlined the importance of affirmative action, acknowledging that not all students start from the same position. Despite the historical difficulties associated with educational funding, he expressed confidence that these changes would ultimately benefit the students.
I am also persuaded that we need a funding model that is not focused on the university, but focused on the student. A funding model that will not leave any child in Kenya behind. A funding model that recognizes that there are children from vulnerable families. I don't think it is correct for all of us to assume that we are all the same and that students from vulnerable families don't need affirmative action. They do. And that is why, in this new model, we are increasing scholarship and loan for students from vulnerable families from 80% to 95%. I am persuaded that it is the right thing to do. For the benefit of your families and your nation, I pray fervently that your wisdom, integrity, and strength increase as you put your knowledge and skills to the service of God, our Creator, our nation, and to our fellow citizens. Thank you very much. My very best wishes. Well done. God bless you. Thank you very much.
The Orange Democratic Movement has fired back at a faction of Azimio la Umoja affiliated parties questioning Raila Odinga's commitment to the opposition. While defending Raila on Monday, ODM Party National Chairperson Gladys Wanga stated that the party members who joined Ruto's government did so as individuals, not as representatives of the party. She noted that the president felt the individuals had the capacity to add value to his administration and help the country achieve its desired goals.
On the matter at hand, the questioning of ODM and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga's commitment to opposition, our partners are not acting in good faith. They're hiding behind the 4 gentlemen and 1 lady who joined government and using it to try and wrestle the leadership of the Houses of Parliament from ODM. We find that unacceptable, and we wish to reiterate the obvious. The House leadership is about numbers in the House and not those in government. As we speak, ODM has the highest numbers of MPs professing and committed to Azimio ideals and principles. Majority of the MPs from a number of other coalition parties long went to bed with the Kenya Kwanza in Parliament. This has to be about the sacrifices made. Thus far, ODM has borne the highest brunt in terms of casualties, people killed, maimed, or wounded while expressing opposition to the Kenya Kwanza policies. Demonstrations have not begun this year or last year. ODM and protests are synonymous. We have borne that cross over decades and suffered heavy casualties all the time, never apportioning any blame. Our members have been forthright and honorable enough to declare that they are joining the government. The 5 have been honorable enough to relinquish their party positions instead of clinging to opposition leadership while serving in the government at the same time. The party leader has been forthright enough to explain that the 5 have joined in their individual capacities to do national duty and not as representatives of party. That is ODM. We act transparently, honorably, and accountably. Finally, as a party, we will not accept any continued attempts to use Raila Odinga as a human shield and any continued attempt to twist him into endorsing anybody at this stage, or any continued attempt to use him as an excuse for the failure of leadership in individual constituent parties of Azimio.
Meanwhile, Governor Abdul Somad has addressed claims regarding the ODM party's relationship with the government, stating that the ODM has not united with President Ruto's administration. He highlighted that despite requests, the government has sought expert assistance to help clarify its position. Governor Abdul emphasized the need for expert opinions to provide a clearer understanding of the government's action and strategies.
Njia ya kwanza ni kuanza kuwafanyia vile, unajua mtoto akiumia wale watoto wenzake wao wanamchezea wakamwambia kwa umeumia, ama kuwakumbusha ya kuwa ukienda njia hiyo hiyo utazidi kuumia. Yangu ni kuwakumbusha ikifika mwaka 2027 kama mnataka kwenda njia hiyo hiyo, endeleeni safari ya muumii, safari tutaweza kuanza kuhakikisha ya kwa kama mmeanguka watu wameanguka kabisa. Kwa sababu tulizunguka na tukazunguka na tukazunguka. Wengine wakasema huu baba, wengine wakamuita mganga, wengine wakamuita sijui kila aina ya matusi. Ni mzee. Wengine wakasema sijui nini. Lakini mwisho wa kwisha ni baba ambaye kwamba anayehakikisha hii nchi isichomeke. Na ikifika mwaka 2027 safari inaanza sasa. Kama watu wanaona wanaweza kuzunguka, hata na sisi tuna uwezo wa kuzunguka Kenya nzima. Tutakumbusha kila mmoja what the values of ODM are. We are a social democracy that believes in the uplift of the people of Kenya. We are the true sons and daughters of Raila Amolo Odinga, the father of modern day democracy in this country, and the one person who can be resorted to when need arises. Hiyo moto itaingia paka kwako. Tukasema ya kuwapana shida, wanataka firemen wetu, chukueni mafiremen wetu. Lakini sisi tunawaambia 2027, sasa sisi ndo ambao kwamba tutaendesha msikani wa hii nchi tukufu ya Kenya.
While everybody else is against ODM joining the government, Governor Natembeya has called on the party to transition from its current opposition role and join the government in a bid to foster national unity and progress. Natembeya highlighted the potential benefits of ODM's collaboration with the ruling administration, suggesting that such a move could enhance the country's political stability and development. The governor's appeal reflects a growing sentiment for greater political cohesion and underscores the importance of collective efforts in addressing national challenges.
Wezi kwa usiku wewe unakula na wale sindio? Alafu mchana wakati tunalia njaa unalia na sisi. Yote unasema nini? Inaitwa politics of dishonesty ambayo sisi hatutaki. Na hii taifa la Kenya kwa sasa mambo mabaya inafanyika, siasa imechanganyikiwa. Juzi kuna vijana walifanya maandamano, wakafanya maandamano, tukaona ODM imeingia ndani ya serikali. Sisi tunaomba ndugu zetu wa ODM, tunawaomba watoto wa ODM, mumekaribishwa kuingia kwa serikali, mumeingia kwa serikali, ingia kwa hiyo serikali na mikono miguu miwili. Wacha kuweka mguu mmoja kwa upinzani, ingine ndani ya serikali. Mambo haifanywi namna hiyo. Huwezi kuwa ndani ya serikali na ukuwe kiongozi ya upinzani. Haiwezekani. ODM kaa ndani huko. Makosa kama itafanyika tutakutana 2027 mjibu pia nyinyi. Hapana kwenda kujificha huko, itafika 2027 mnaanza kusema wao tujaribu kusaidia Ruto ikakuwa ngumu nini mnatoroka na kurudi pande hii. Hatutakaribisha nyinyi. Kaa huko na mfanyie wa Kenya kazi ama namna gani? Wakae huko, sisi tukae pande nyingine ya upinzani ama namna gani? Na tunataka hata katika bunge kiongozi ya upinzani asiwe mtu ya ODM. Because you cannot oversight your own government. Ama namna gani? Wacha tukue tu wangwana. Hata mheshimiwa Raila anajua. Tukipigana mambo ya vyama vingi alikuwa anajua tunatafuta demokrasia. Kukua kwa upinzani sio makosa. Kukua kwa serikali sio makosa. Hata wenye wako na upinzani wanang'ang'ana kuingia kwa serikali. Ama namna gani? Kuunda serikali. Nyinyi mmefunguliwa kadirisha, mmeingia ndani ya serikali, ingia ndani ya serikali. Tusumuzu. Sasa imekuwa UDA, ODM, ANC, Ford Kenya, wote wako. Ama namna gani?
Our businessman Jimmy Wanjigi has been arrested at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, Milimani office after presenting himself for grilling over his alleged funding of the anti-government protest. A businessman was embroiled in an altercation with police officers shortly after arriving at the DCI office on Monday after they prevented him from addressing the media. He was expected to meet with the regional police boss Adamson Bungei to record a statement. Wanjigi was accompanied by his legal team as he was ushered into the DCI office premises, which he ended up being arrested from. Still on the same story, Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa visited him at Kamukunji police station where he was being detained and strongly condemned his arrest as unconstitutional and illegal. Wanjigi, who had a court-issued restraining order against his arrest and was involved in 2 ongoing court cases, was reportedly subjected to an unlawful raid at his home where police harassed his family for hours without a warrant. Despite the court order, officers arrested him in what Kalonzo Musyoka and Wamalwa described as blatant impunity and disregard of the rule of law.
We will be very brief. What you have seen at Kamukunji police station today is completely unacceptable It is unconstitutional, it is illegal, it's impunity at its height. Mr. Jimmy Wanjigi has a properly issued restraining order against his arrest until matters are canvassed in court. So we treat this as another case of abduction. This is what it is. And it's a proper case of hires from above, because no police officer would want to commit such impunity. I have spoken to the officer in charge, Mr. Mugo, and he has assured us of the safety of Jimmy Wanjigi while he's in custody, while we pursue the matter of contempt of court. It's a very clear case of contempt of court, and we don't want to live in a country like this. But it is our country, and we shall live in it.
Which is pure impunity. Jimmy Wanjigi obtained court orders, but this followed long hours of an illegal raid on his house without any warrant. They broke into his house, harassed his family for hours on end. But even after he got court orders, they've gone back this afternoon, arrested him and brought him here in total disregard of court orders issued. But we can see a pattern in this government. It's a government that does not respect the rule of law. We have seen it in the demonstrations. Orders have been issued for the police not to use live bullets, not to abduct, not to kill. They are still doing it, even when there are court orders such as this. So we join our friend, the lawyer here, Willis, in saying that tomorrow we must proceed to court to commence contempt of court proceedings.
Now, away from politics and all that, let's go to the health sector. Kenya has not approved any Mpox vaccine for emergency use to stop the disease from spreading. Currently, just 2 World Health Organization approved Mpox vaccines are being used and are in Africa. Only Nigeria and the Democratic Republic of Congo have approved them. Kenya requires makers of the vaccines to register them with the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, but the approval is expedited for emergency use. The vaccines being used are MVABN, produced by Danish drug maker Bavarian Nordic and Japan's LC16. Kenyans still are being urged to be on the lookout to take safety precautions as the borderlines are heavily protected against the entrance of such a pandemic.
Hii ugonjwa zamani sana hapa tulikuwa tunaita kidhuku. Mwisho kidhuku. Itakuwa smallpox. Lakini saa hii imepatikana ingine iko na nguvu kuliko smallpox, inatoka kwa wanyama. Zamani ilikuwa inaitwa monkeypox. Lakini saa hii imetolewa monkey ikawekwa M, inaitwa Mpox. Hii ugonjwa ni hatari sana. Kwa sababu katika watu 100 wale wanaipata 6 ama 10 wataenda. Inashika sana sana watoto wadogo na wale wazee. Hawa wengine wako katikati sio sana, na wale wako na immune system iko chini pia inawalemea. Na hiyo ugonjwa inapatikana sana kwa wale watu wana deal na wanyama kama kule Kongo. Hapa kwetu pia kuna watu ambao wanaenda kukichakani kwenda kuwinda. Wengine wameweka wanyama kama hao nyumbani zao. It is the only one of the few diseases ambayo inakuwa transmitted kutoka mnyama kuja kwa binadamu, and it is very dangerous.
Welcome to the world of sports. Now, the East Africa High School matches have reached their second day at Amus School in Mbale Town. And the game of basketball, 5 players on each side, St. Noah from Uganda beat Butere with a score of 67-41, while Buruburu won 55-45 against Nabisunza. In men's football, the national champions Highway were beaten 2-0 by St. Mary's Kitende, and Musingu came from behind to force a 2-2 draw against the host Amus College.
Bisunza was a good team. We played them in the past, and they took some lead, and we knew at one point they are going to relinquish that lead because they came so hard. They pressed us all over the court, so we knew they are going to get tired at one point, and we took over the game and won it.
Neza furaha yangu yote. Brush is ours. Goal! Ajol! Oya!
Alafu naona refereeing ilikuwa na shida kwa sababu wametuibia bao. Penalty yenye haikuwa wameweka, lakini tukangangana, tukakuja equalize, wakafunga tena tukafunga ikakuwa 2-2. So mimi ni kusema tu kwamba tuta qualify kutoka kwa hii pool, kwa sababu hii timu ndio ilikuwa timu ngumu sana kwa sababu ni ya nyumbani na hii ni kiwanja yao. So ni kuweka bidii na kukaza, tutafika mwisho.
Mimi kama shabiki nasema kwamba Kenya tumekuja kuchukua hii kitu, wametuzoea siku mingi na Musingu imeonesha we are going to take this thing. We are very happy as Kenya. Musingu wametutoa aibu, ilikuwa jamaa wameanza kutuambia ati Kenya turudi to riot. Tumewaambia tuna riot in football.
And with that, we call it a wrap. It marks the end of EBN TV Prime Edition. Thank you very much for keeping us company. I hope you're going to have a lovely night. See you tomorrow for the International Interdenominational Faith Summit 2024. Other than that, it's from us here at EBN TV. Good night. God bless. Consolata Chipalonza. Until next time.